Hey guys, Tajla Dawn here and welcome back to this channel. Happy to have you here today. Just want to let you guys know there are going to be some design changes and style changes that are happening to this channel, so please stay tuned for that. But today's video is going to be all about something that's super important, something that's coming up right now in the legal field world, and that is the Lsat. The Lsat is vastly approaching, and there's some different things that are happening with the Lsat due to COVID. New program which is called the Lsat Flex. These are tips for anyone who is upcoming and taking and embarking on this new journey of taking the Lsat. Like some people that I know. Experienced by me, just so you can know my background with the Lsat. I have taken the Lsat and failed it. I tried multiple things when studying for the test, but the things that I'm telling you now are the things that I did that actually worked for me. Just hop right into this video. It's going to be really quick and really simple because I know you don't have time and you need to be studying for the Lsat. Some people do study by themselves for this test. Some people take practice prep courses, and some people just don't do anything. They just take the freaking test. You can do whatever is best suited for you and your personality and your study habits. For me personally, I worked best when I took a prep course. These are just my couple tips that I think will help you in the long run. So tip number one is to look at the test to see exactly what you're going to be tested on. So if I'm looking at my website, I'm looking at my computer. I always have my computer. My little legal girl, Lady Justice. But look at the test to see exactly what you're going to be tested on. And when I say this, I mean look at LSAC site, wherever the Lsat Flex is offered. It should be broken down. Literally look and see what you're going to be tested on, break it down, and just so you can know, this is with any type of test. I mean, this is a basic tip, but this is with any type of test. You should definitely know where you're going to be tested on, because this is super important. You have to know what you're going to be tested on so that you can succeed. With this, you can also check out how much time you have to complete each section of the test, how many sections are going to be on the test, what will each section consist of, how many questions which will each section consist of, and literally you can break it down to how much time you have to answer each question. And this will just be really good to do because you will be more familiar with your time, and you can study this way. And then when you take the test, it'll just be easy for you. The next tip I have is to do as many practice questions as you can. Literally just do as many practice questions as you can. I say this because when you do these practice questions, you'll get super familiar with the patterns that they throw at you. You'll see everything, all the same questions that they ask. You'll even start seeing recurring questions on different things that you might study on. So it's really good to just really do as many practice questions that you can during this time before you sit for the actual Lsat, whether it's the Lsat Flex. I don't know what the future might hold. Maybe they might, go back to the regular. They may go back to the regular Lsat after COVID. But whether it's the Lsat Flex or the Lsat, then this is still a great tip, because just taking as many practice questions and being familiar with the information that you're going to be tested on will always just be such an advantage to you. So tip number three is to, when you're practicing for the test, make sure to take the test under the same time constraints that you will have to take the test if you were sitting for the actual exam. So what I mean by this, probably not when you're doing the practice questions. You might want to time yourself too when you're doing the practice questions, but you probably don't have to be so detailed. But when you actually sit down and take the full out practice exam, under the same exact time constraints, you might want to take the test under the time constraints, take the actual full practice exam under the time constraints. That's the same thing that you will have for the test. Put yourself in a room, somewhere where you will be bothered, set your timer, take the same type of breaks, everything, just so you can get in the mindset to see what it would actually be like. Because a lot of this stuff is just a mind game. It's just something we've never done before. So if you do it, in your own comfortability, hopefully you'll be able to, maneuver and do it when you're sitting for the actual exam. The next tip I have is to set healthy boundaries around your time. this is such a very vulnerable time in your life. You're like a little baby in a new world. If you're not new to the legal world like I was, I knew nothing about the legal world. I was just, fresh out of undergrad, and I did work with lawyers and things like this, but I was like a fish out of water. I didn't know a lot. So I had to set healthy boundaries around my time because I had to learn a lot because I didn't know a lot. I had to sit down. I had to actually actively put in the time to succeed. And this means you can't call people. People can't reach you so much. They can't talk to you so much. You have to literally minimize your time out. Your time and prioritize. You have to prioritize your study time and make it a priority, because without that, you just have to make yourself and your goal a priority. So just set healthy boundaries around your time, and just make sure you're getting stuff done and you're studying and you're making best you out of yourself. So the next thing I will say is to find an environment outside of your home or outside of your room to study. I know this might be really, really hard because it is COVID pandemic still going on right now. But I know for me personally, it's kind of hard for me to study in the setting that I sleep and stuff in, because I just get more comfortable and all this other jazz. I just want to, if it's dirty, I feel like I want to clean up, I might have just ate, but I might be hungry again, fix me some food. But if I go to like a library or just like an office to where there's nothing to do but to just get work done, and I can only focus on that one thing, I'm ready. I come there to focus, so that way I can leave and get back to my comfortability. So that's just a tip that I have, just to throw in there, find somewhere to study outside of your comfort zone and, outside of your home environment. The next tip I have is to make sure that you're eating and working out properly and taking care of your body properly. You have to be eating the right foods, like brain foods. They're going to be pushing you and giving you the momentum and the nutrients that you need to, to succeed and to push through. Like, we are only humans. Like, we can do so much, but we still need other things to help push us forward. And one of the things is definitely food, and healthy food and exercise is definitely something that we need to do all the time, and it's just great for our mental stability. While we are working our brain muscles, we still need to exercise our mental and our brain stability as well, and mental stability as well, and our physical. Like, everything has to be utilized in order to succeed. So that is just that tip. The next tip I have is to dedicate your weekends, or at least 5 to 6 hours throughout the weekends, just to dedicate to your studies. Like, maybe 5 to 6 hours every day of the weekend, Friday through Sunday. You can dedicate 5 to 6 hours of just studying, and just to dedicate to understanding this information, unraveling this information, and actually understanding what it's asking you. I know with the LSAT, the biggest thing with the LSAT is the word verbiage, and they might say tricky words to throw you off. It might be a may or can, or should or should not, and things like that. They're really so small, and they throw them in there. But when you're reading fast, and when you're nervous, and when you're under time constraints, like, you can see what you want to see on these exams. And yeah, and another thing is just like, there's so many tips and tricks to the LSAT, and I just feel that if you take 5 to 6 hours just solo time, just to study and focus on it, you'll start seeing these patterns, and then it will really help you succeed when you're taking the exam. And then when you see these things during the exam, you're going to be like, ha ha, I remember that. I remember you tried to get me with that on that practice exam. And it's okay if you're not doing really well on your practice exams. It really is okay if you're not doing really well on your practice exams, because you have to get it wrong sometimes, and you should get it wrong during practice, right? Like, you don't want to wait until you're like taking the exam and you're trying to get it right and you're getting it wrong. So always do the practice exams, read the wrong answers, and also read the right answers. Read why you got it right, and read why you got it wrong, so you can get it right next time when you got it wrong, and we can get it right next time when you got it right. So the next tip I already said, I kind of just was talking about it. Make sure that you're reading very, very carefully, because the word verbiage is super uber tricky. And when I was studying for the LSAT, I would literally have a pencil or something, and I would just cover up every other word up under it. So if I'm reading the paragraph, I would just read that one sentence. And it would really help me focus on the words that were on each line and not jumping or seeing anything else. Or sometimes your eyes get misplaced, or you start reading on line 3, then you pick up on line 5. So just different things like that, or just techniques that you can do to keep yourself focused and your brain, because we need like little things to help us, you know, stay on track and to make it right. And this is the things I did when I was taking, this is one thing I did when I was taking the exam. Not least, the last tip would be to diagram everything on the LSAT, especially. There are 3 parts. You have the logical reasoning, you have the logic games, and you have the reading comprehension. So with all these 3 categories, maybe 2 of the most you might diagram, maybe more. Probably in each section you'll have a chance to diagram. Probably not so much the reading comprehension section, but the other 2, which were the logic games, you would definitely have to diagram the rules. And those of you who are studying for the LSAT, or if you know what I'm speaking of, when you study, you will know what I'm speaking of. But on the logic games especially, it's kind of like a sequencing game. So it's kind of like J, K, L, J, M, L, and K are all, I don't know if that's 7, are all 7 of them are roommates. J's in room 3, and K is in room 5, and L and M are in the room together. It's just different things like that, and you have to like schedule them and figure out who's in room 4 based on the other rules. So you'll diagram those rules to make them more visual rather than word verbiage, because you've been taking a 4-hour exam. Like, make something more diagrammy instead of just words, because your brain gets jumbled. So diagram when you can, anytime you can. And those of you who are studying for the LSAT, I'm pretty sure that your test prep courses and all the other things and supplements that you are using are telling you guys the same exact thing. So these are just my tips that I have for you guys who are studying for the LSAT. Also, the last tip is to have faith in yourself. You can do this. You really can do this. You really can. You know it. You got this in the bag. Everything that you need to know is right there in the paper for you. Just make sure you study hard, dedicate some time to it, and make it a priority, and you will succeed. If you're having any other questions, I'm here for you. I can write me on Instagram. A lot of you write me on Instagram, and you guys ask me questions. You can send me an email. A lot of you even have my phone number. So matter, I'm here to help you. And if I don't know the answer, I will let you know I don't know the answer, but I will find someone who does. So that is all I have for this video, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys stay blessed and peace.